Australia's 25,000 kilometres.
Okay, that's enough for now. But yeah, if you want to see more, of course, talk to me. But yeah, so I mean, the plan obviously is to get people to see it on other occasions. So yeah, we can talk about that. Yeah, but the idea, I guess, was just to help people become aware that there are options, and things like obviously the wave and ocean power technologies are still at that sort of early stage. But it's kind of interesting. I wanted to look at projects that were at different stages of development. Even though it's at an early stage, it's still at a commercial stage of being deployed. They're actually doing a test version down at Flinders and King Island this year. So they're looking at actually deploying it, physically in the ocean, and upscaling it at some point. And they've got arrangements with the Tasmanian government, etc. So, and then some of the other technologies we look at are far more developed. So we look at the solar thermal, which is the large mirrors that are used to create steam to run turbines that can run power stations, large-scale alternatives to coal and nuclear. And again, a lot of people don't realise that solar comes in many forms. It's not just solar panels. There's many ways that the sun heat or energy can be harnessed for our purposes. We're incredibly fortunate that there are so many ways of utilising that energy. And in my travels, I hear people describe Australia as the Middle East of renewable energy. And because our natural resources, just in terms of certain parts of the country, the wind just blows. Certain parts of the country, the tides and the waves are there enormously. But in terms of sunshine, that's probably our most incredible asset. We've got these immense areas of just vast quantities of sunshine. I mean, one quote from Dr. Martin Green at New South Uni is that 1 hour of sunlight hitting Australia would be enough to power the world's entire industrial energy needs for a year. So you hear these sort of statistics being thrown around all the time and going, well, how can we harness it? And there's so many ways to do it. It's, through, it could be evacuated water tubes. There's some of the systems that you were referring to before, Douglas. So there's, and solar heat can be used for cooling as well as heating. We've yet to really tap into the potential. It's actually quite massive. So I'm really excited by the fact that there's so many amazing Australians, in this area, and I just really wanted to bring them to the public attention, because I kept thinking, how come we don't know who these people are? I feel they should be household names, and we know all the sports stars and all the rest of it. We don't know our own innovators and scientists and brilliant, people. So that was the intention, and yeah. So, and regarding screenings or whatever, I mean. It was shown on Discovery, but because it's cable, they have a 6 months license window of opportunity, exclusive license sort of thing. But we're trying to roll out screenings to people who are interested, whether it's within organisations, community, whatever. So have a chat to me about those sort of possibilities. But yeah, questions, please.
I was going to say, we've got a festival coming up in August, the Live Futures Festival. This is our 3rd year, which we're running at Copa this year with Selena co-running it. So maybe that's an opportunity.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
How long is it?
Well, actually, it's supposedly a TV hour, which means the ones that put the ads in, becomes an hour. But it runs for 45 minutes as a continuous piece without any breaks. So what we found before when we screened it is, if sometimes we can just do a Q&A afterwards to look at the technologies in detail. Also, just again, as you're doing, Janine, just to spark debate and ideas. But also, sometimes we can bring in some of the scientists to also expand some of the more complex ideas so that people can get an understanding. Because again, a lot of misinformation around this idea that these aren't ready to be deployed or whatever. In fact, they can help people really understand that these things are ready to go in many respects. Yes?
I thought it was very interesting presentation. Thanks very much for that. I was interested more in terms of the biosphere movement and solar energy, in terms of commercialising it. How close are they to storing the energy and then being able to put it into the grid?
Well, they don't store it. As it's produced, as the biostream moves, the energy just goes down the cables straight into the grid. So it's almost like an underwater wind farm, if you like. So it's a direct sort of feeding the energy directly in. So they're not really working on storage. That's not really their thing. Whereas the solar thermal guys are very, very conscious that they would like to have a storage solution. They feel that unless they have that, and in fact, my understanding is that they kept saying to me, we've got it happening, we can't talk to you about it because of IP issues at the moment, but they say that they have a 16-hour storage system which will allow them, collect the sun during the day, keep the turbines going throughout the night till the next day, and they feel that that's enough to keep the energy. It's not exactly base load, although it sort of is, because they've got enough to keep them going. And this whole thing about base load, how much do we need it, can be a bit of a furphy. David Mills argues actually that humans tend to need more energy when they're up and about, when the sun's shining anyway, and you're going to sleep at night. We don't tend to use as much energy at night anyway, so there's a natural correlation between human activity and the sun's activity. So he's quite critical about the way we've set up our energy systems to be very, this whole baseload thing, we're just producing all this energy that goes nowhere with coal. So.
I'd love to get a hold of it somehow.
Yeah,
talk
sure.
to you later.
We'll talk to you later.
Talk to Maryella.
Yeah, just talk to me. I'll write up the website. The website's just thefuturemakers.com.au, but I'm happy to give people my details as well. I've got some cards. I'm running out of cards. But I can put some details up on the board if that's...
Yeah, definitely, and we'll probably, I think we should, we'll send something out after this event, probably the next week or so, and put people's details on, and where they can obtain pieces of this or the blog.
Yeah, that's great.
Definitely.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.